All right, welcome back to the Congo Report. We are back into the Leopard's Lair, and I'm back with another guest this week, and her name is Adolophine Sheeley. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. People may not know that we met kind of like in passing, I think, back in September of last year at a summit, the CEDIS Summit, the Congo Diaspora Impact Summit, back in Washington, D.C. You were there, you were one of the speakers there. But now you're on my program, and I wanted to start off with a little icebreaker question that I do for all of our guests, and it's a section that we call What Set You Claim. And it basically, you just tell us, where you or your family hail from back in Congo, what tribe you guys are, what languages you speak, and all that. So go ahead, fire off.
All right, this is what I'm claiming.
All right.
I'm Muluba.
Mhm.
I'm from Kasai.
Mhm.
On my mom's side, Adolophine Pungas are the princess of Chibata. So in my family, everyone calls me Madame Princess or Chibata as a joke.
Oh, wow.
I even put it on my Instagram handle.
Oh, wow.
I speak French, I speak English, I speak Lingala. My Chiluba, I can fake it till I can't make it, but I used to speak it beautifully, but it's not that great. And I can fake my Swahili as well, and Spanish just because I live in New York.
Oh, okay. You're a lot of around the Puerto Ricans, Dominican, Cubans, and all that.
Oh yeah.
And then I also, not to leave you hanging, I always just let my guests know, my audience, they've probably heard me say it 1,000 times. So I was born and raised here, but my family, I'm Congolese and Zambian, but even on my dad's side, he has a lot of family members in Congo right now. Or who've been living there for a long time. In Lubumbashi, that's where my mom's from. We're mostly Katangan culture kind of family. So Swahili is what we speak. My mom is Hemba, and she's also, so I'm Hemba, Luba Shaba, which is kind of like the, if you read back in like history books, it's like the indigenous Luba people. Yeah. And they don't speak Chiluba, they speak Kiluba. And then on my dad's side, Bemba, which is also ironically the tribe that's indigenous, indigenous to Lubumbashi also, as well as in northern Zambia. So but I speak Swahili, French, English, of course, and German. Yeah. So because here in my city, in the Midwest, in Ohio, it's a traditionally Germanic town. It's a lot of German immigrants came here. So I went to a German medium school. So I learned how to speak German at 5 years old, and I took it all the way up to university.
Wow. By the way, we have an Ohio connection. I'm a Buckeye. I went to Ohio State for my undergrad.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. OHIO.
Yes, of course. You have to make a trip back. My alma mater is UC, so
okay.
Yeah. Because my dad's a professor there, so I got to just.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I've been to UC a few times.
Oh, good.
For basketball games and for events.
Yep. They didn't make it to the.
No, not this year, but you guys are consistently good. So
yeah. So first I want to, kind of take it a little bit back to the beginning. I wanted to sort of get an idea of your upbringing. So So you were born, from my understanding, you were born in Congo and you immigrated here at some point to United States.
Yes.
And so I wanted to talk just a little bit. I always find the immigrant experience interesting because a lot of times it's, especially for Congolese people, because it's not the same um, across the board from person to person. So my brother and I were born here, but my sister was not. So the way she talks about the immigrant experience and them coming here is much different than some of the other people that I've interviewed in the past. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey to United States.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The immigrant experience is different for everyone. What age you come, the experience why you immigrated makes a big difference. So I left home. I left Congo. I was born in Kinshasa.
Mhm.
I went to Bambino, which was a private school in Matete, a Belgian private school. My dad worked in foreign affairs. My mom was a businesswoman. They were separate. They were divorced, separated.
Okay.
And so he lived in Limba and I lived in Matete with my mom. And, they co-parented and shared me and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
And my dad came to the States in 1987 for post of chargé des affaires for Zaire, then Zaire to United Nations.
Mhm.
And then he asked for the kids to join him. So we joined him 5 months later. So I left home. I left my mom stayed, and I came with my dad's other kids, my siblings. I came here when I was 8 and a half. I didn't speak a lick of English.
Oh.
It was a culture shock. I didn't know we were coming to live here permanently. I thought it was a visit.
Oh, they didn't explain it to you.
No, 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 no.
Why do you think they didn't do that?
African parents back then are not as communicative as parents now. It's kind of like it's a child place. You do what you tell you,
Yeah.
kind of mentality. I have a 10-year-old now. I'm still a very African mom.
Yeah.
I'm very strict, but we communicate and we're very close.
Right.
And she knows the reasons behind my decisions.
Yeah.
It's not just because I said so. It's
Right.
because I know why I'm doing this. I'm here to protect you. I wasn't given the same liberty. It was
Right.
basically like, okay, you're here, go to school. I started off at a New York City public school in Jamaica, Queens. And this is from going from a private Belgian school where everything's very proper, I was
Yeah.
having grades, I wore dresses, I wore gloves. I was very, very proper girl. I still am quite like that. But then you roll up to, 1988, Jamaica,
Oh
Queens,
boy.
like
That's
really coming to America. And you're like,
yeah.
bonjour tout le monde, bonjour, hi. I know everyone's like,
What in the world
who
is
are
going on?
you? Who is
Yeah.
this alien? Are you sure you're Black? Where are you from? I had the worst experience coming
Oh.
here. I was miserable. I cried every day. The lunch, I remember my first day, I went to the cafeteria and I later found out, like years later, and my dad was in London for work on my first day of school. And this lady, they give you a tray. No one speaks French, even the ESL teacher. She spoke Spanish. So I was like, how are you going to teach me English? Thinking later on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like I was moving there and I only spoke Chiluba. I spoke French. Like, it was just, and they gave me a tray with hamburger bread. And then they put this wet, like circular meat pieces on my bread.
Yeah.
And it was all oily and watery. I was like, I can't. So I act like I was vomiting. I go to Miss Casey's office, who's the principal. I call my father. I tell him they're giving me like food we didn't even give the dogs in Congo. I later find out it was sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe.
So it was just.
I never liked sloppy Joe either.
Oh no, it just looked.
It looked terrible.
I didn't know what it was. It was just terrible with like milk. They had back then it was like the milk carton.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got chocolate milk or white milk. I had no idea. I was lost for so long. I learned under the Belgian system. So when they were learning math, was just like, you guys, I would get frustrated. I would go up to the board, solve the math problem, like throw the chalk, I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And so finally we moved. I got pulled out of the school and went someplace else, and it was a
Okay.
better experience, but I never felt like I belonged
Mm-hmm.
here. From the way I was received to the way I felt, it's like
Yeah.
something you never forget. Um, and I've been here forever. And I know some of my friends were like, "Oh, you're very American." I was like, "I am not American. I'll never be American, even though I have an American passport right now. I'll
Yeah.
never be American. I'm an immigrant, 100%."
Yeah.
It's just it was not a great experience. But I was lucky enough to come here when I was younger. When you're older and you're coming, you have to work and you don't have that grace of being a kid and a
Yeah.
little bit of leeway. It's a bit harder. But
Yeah.
it was
I have to tell you, that experience, even though I was born here, we grew up like, at least with my family, I can't speak for everyone else. Um, we grew up like we were still in Congo, and for the most part, and also especially because like my father is a university professor. He's the director
mm,
of African Studies at University of Cincinnati. We so the Africanness was heavy, or especially, and and like I remember that I had the same sloppy Joe experience because we never ate that at home. I'm just like, what? I was like, I said, okay, this is where we delineate between American and
yes,
African, because I
yeah,
wouldn't I ate it once and I never ate it again. And I was like, yeah, they, and even though you see kids, at least at that time, who are Black, but they definitely made a delineation, because with my name, I have my mom's name. It's a very traditional Hemba name. So when when I tell them my name, it's like, okay, you're definitely not American. You're not one
mhm.
of us either, because I guess also I had like a little bit of an accent too back then, or what have you.
Oh
But
yeah,
um
the accent really got them too. So Adolphine's my middle name. At school they called me Punga. And
oh,
so
really?
yeah, she was like, Punja, I'm a Punja. Like it was so frustrating. And
Yeah.
it's so funny now when you move fast forward today, where everybody thinks because you're Black, we're all the same.
Yeah.
And back then, they didn't treat you the same, and
Mm-mm.
we're not the same. Black people are not monolithic. We're all
Exactly.
different, different experiences, and things that are normal to somebody that grew up here or has the heritage here is not normal to us.
Right.
And I don't, and being here 30 years is still not normal to me.
Yeah, yeah. And even and my parents, they used to get frustrated because at one point they even gave me an ESL. They put me in the ESL class. They were like, why are they putting you in the ESL class when we told them that you were born here? I
Wow.
said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. And I had to be in the ESL class for 2 years because they thought that I didn't know English well enough. And I was just like,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, yeah,
If I was your parents, I would have been very frustrated. I would have
yeah.
pulled you out. That's stereotypical. It's probably because you also speak so many languages. You
Mm-hmm.
assume that you were slow
Yeah,
and that you couldn't speak English.
yeah. I think so too. Looking back, I'm like, I think they had to, because I was excelling in all the other subjects. So I don't know if like maybe they had to find something
Something. Yeah.
that would make sense that I'm not good at, which would
Yeah.
have been like okay, or they're like, okay, let's go for her, like her heritage. She says she
Right.
was born here, but if you look
Your
at her,
dad's a professor. Like you can't just be
yeah,
amazing. And everybody knows that bilingual, trilingual people, when you're starting school, especially primary school or elementary school, we call it here, you start off a little bit slower because you're overthinking things and your brain wires are crossing. So
They're
in one
still
language,
connecting.
yes, in one language you say something one way and then the other. And plus, English is such a weird language. It's a hard language. It's backwards. And so if you have all these other languages and you're trying to get to the place where you understand what people are saying, it takes you a little bit longer. It's not that you're
Right.
slow. It's
Yeah.
just that you're just smarter and you have more to process.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And so it's so funny to me how, like, I don't know, it's very ironic, I should say. Even though, technically I'm a first generation, I never felt like American in the traditional sense. I
Yeah.
always just said, yes, this is my place of birth, but culturally, how I'm aligned with myself, completely African.
But then we also have this problem where, like, when you go home, everyone's like,
Yes.
oh, Ozamundele, like you're white, you're American.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not accepted there. And I'm having a hard time being accepted back home.
Yeah.
So where do I fit? Like, we're kind of stuck in between. We're the in-betweeners. Like, where do we really
Yes.
fit? And it's a really tough spot to be in sometimes because
Yeah.
you're defending your heritage, your language in your home,
Mm-hmm.
right? From outsiders. And then when
Right.
you're home, you're defending yourself and why you are yourself and why you are the way you are
Right.
to your own people. And you're kind of like,
Exactly.
where do I fit in? So
It's it's an interesting thing but it also, I guess, in a way can be a very beautiful place too, because you can still navigate. It's like a dance, it's like you have to, how to, because you've been in a certain place for so long. You know how to, the beats, the notes.
the tango. Yeah.
Yes. And then when you go back home, because that's what you started with and that's the culture that you know firsthand, you know you also know the beats and the notes, and then if because obviously, because you haven't spent enough time there, because you're somewhere else, things change sometimes, but then you're able to adjust, and then you correct the steps.
Well, you don't correct the steps, not when you're trying to do business back home.
Oh, well, yeah.
The good thing about being an in-betweener for back home, especially if you're doing business, is that, at least for me, because I'm a New Yorker, we're
Right.
very like straight to the point.
Yeah.
No, no chaser.
Yeah.
I use that as my reason why I'm so aggressive. I'm like, look, I don't know. This is how I want it. Do it now. Oh, that's not how we do it here. It's like, well, you're gonna do it the way I tell you to do it. And you're gonna do it with a smile on your face, and we're gonna get this done. We're gonna be productive. And that's it.
Yeah.
So you have special leverage, but you still feel like an outsider.
Right.
Like, there was a funny TikTok where this guy is standing in front of Papa Tshisekedi's statue that was recently unveiled. Yes. And he has leaves. He was like, Papa, all the foreigners are here. They're taking all the jobs. They're taking all of our women. They have all the beautiful cars. And then they're bossing us around. Get rid of them. But the foreigners he's talking about is not the true foreigners. It's us, like the in-betweeners that he's talking about. He's not talking about the Chinois, the Lebanese, and all those people.
Yeah, the ones who really need to leave.
Yeah, he's talking about us.
That's crazy.
Like, look at that. We really are foreigners to them.
That's I think it's also interesting because part of it, I think this is just my hypothesis, that they have a certain perception, especially of I find of United States, of how the lifestyle is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very Hollywoodized, glamorized perception. And I think if they spent like at least a week, perhaps, I think that will be demystified, depending on the person.
They need to spend a week working, not being on vacation.
Yes, a week. If it's a week having a job, working, not just like on vacation.
I say that to my family and my team all the time, because I find it that people, especially in Kinshasa, out east is completely different. Like in
Right.
Vichy, Bashi, complètement différent,
Yes.
really different. But in
Yes.
Kinshasa, there's like no value, no understanding of value of money. It's always like, oh,
Mm.
mama do, tanta do, pesangai, 1,000, c'est rien pour toi. I'm like, to get $1,000, I have to work X amount of hours. I have to
Mm-hmm.
make $1,483 because I live in New York City tax, New York state tax, income tax. So
Yeah.
in order for me to make that $1,000, I have to make almost $1,500. And then to send it to you by Western Union, it's going to cost me $200. I really need to make,
Yeah.
$1,800 to be able to give you $1,000.
Yep.
And you think that's nothing. Non, 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 c'est rien. Tu peux le faire. Like, there's just no respect or
Yeah.
value on the
I,
time you have to put in to make money.
yeah. It's I think that they think that like we just like I think part of it is because they're using it with the glamorized perception, of course, but then also thinking, not knowing that they're using the same economic system of Congo, of how money is valued, or how money works over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, so they think that it's easy, or how rich people, they just give money away over there, or when they want, if they have $1,000, if the president wants to give you $1,000, he can do that if he wanted to. um it's it's very different, and we have sort of like sometimes in Lubumbashi you do get, from time to time, it's maybe not as common as in Kinshasa, but from time to time you do get some people. I do find, because of like the coal and the mining industries, particularly in Lubumbashi,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to be a little bit more organized with our money, because so many people depend on that economy and that business. Um, but I think still the number one business in Congo is agriculture, is farming. So also we depend on the business of those farmers. So they especially in like the Northeast. So we really so because I know in the Northeast they're
Oh,
really
yeah.
organized with the farming over there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, speaking of business, you have a pretty big business, I should say, of home decor, jewelry, just a business that exemplifies, in my view, a great intersectionality between modern sort of design and cultural heritage of Congo. So I know this is a very important brand for you. This is kind of like your baby. So I want you to sort of take us back to the genesis of that. And so first of all, how did you even want to do this, and how did this idea occur in your brain?
So I've always wanted to be in design and something creative for
Yeah.
a very long time, but I just never had the opportunity. My dad passed away when I was 17. So
Mm.
it was the summer before my senior year.
Oh
And so I went from
gosh.
having diplomatic status to nothing. And it really ended my life because my mom had already passed away. So I had no
Mm.
papers for a very long time.
Oh
So I was in
wow.
survival mode. I was working, I was paying cash for college. I had 2, 3 jobs. Then I went into private equity.
Mhm.
And I've always been really good with math, but I wanted something creative.
Mm.
And I had my daughter, and she was a micro preemie. She was born 13 weeks early. So then I went back to survival mode, making sure she was okay, that she caught up and everything was fine. And she was fine. And in second grade, she's like, I always say like she has my mom's spirit.
Mm.
She has her name. She's like, what do you want to do in life?
She
Just like,
asked you that?
yeah, an 8-year-old, 7.5-year-old. I'm like, I just want to be your mom. I'm happy. She's like, no, no, no. What do you want to do? She's like, you like fashion, you like to draw, you like this, you like that. And we kind of had this brief conversation. And I've had this business idea in the back of my mind Then one day, one weekend, she's sitting there drawing and she drew a store with an A on the top. She's like, Mommy, this is going to be your store. I was like, huh, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And I'm like, well, should I go for it? And this is me talking at 7.5 years
Yeah.
old, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. How do you know if you don't try it? You might not like it, or you might really love it. Or you might end up doing something else, but you should try. You always tell me to try things and not to be scared. And so I did. I was like, all right. So I started planning things. I worked on the website. I got a creative director. And I started with just things I really liked. And I knew the premise was that I wanted everything made in Africa, including the zippers, the buttons.
Mm.
And I knew it'd be harder because working with African artisans, it's not like working here in the States. Everybody has different cultures, different ways of working.
Mm.
Quality control is different. Yelling at some men doesn't work, right? They can't
Yeah.
have a woman boss. So you really have to get them to get over it.
Yeah.
I pay you, so you're going to do what I say.
Yeah.
And so it was really 2 years of trying things out, working on the website, figuring out what products work. And we were really picking up momentum. We were going to do a bunch of trunk shows, and then COVID happened. I was like, great. Literally, like on our 20-month mark, when really like the press was starting to come, we are going to do a big event in Dallas. We were going to do a big project with Nespresso coffee and do Art Basel and all this stuff.
Oh
and
my
the whole
gosh.
world shut down and everything got canceled. So I took that time to reassess like really what I wanted to do. And I wanted to keep the business going, but I wanted a also focus on the nonprofit part. Because before COVID shut down, I was in Kinshasa in February 2020, and I wanted to give back to the community I grew up in, Matete.
Yeah.
And I went to visit my old home, and there was an orphanage nearby. So I asked the team to like see if this place was serious, right?
Yeah.
How the kids were treated, and if it's a place that we could help from time to time, see what can happen. And then in end of March, we get a call. They're like, they're really in serious need of help. Remember, I don't know if you remember, the food prices went up like crazy on the continent.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like quadruple the price. The kids were starving. There was no school, there was nothing. So we decided to start helping them first. And then we officially created an ONG called Les Amis de Mulunda and Georgette. Mulunda is my sister that passed away. And Georgette's my mom and my daughter. And since then, we've been really pushing the Adolophine home design and really getting things going so we can take those profits and support our projects in the Congo. And right now it's 3 orphanages, an old person home, which is not something you see all the time. But as we talked about immigrants, people are moving and people are leaving home. So their parents don't have their family to live with, and they're kind of left by themselves, or even a lot of people passed away. People get sick so easily, and the healthcare system isn't really there. So you have a lot of these old people alone. And there's a Maison de Veillard in Kitambo that has 29, I think right now it's at 29 elders that we support. We give monthly support to, we bring vegetables. If they need mattresses or whatever their needs are, we support. And then we created a farm out in Lao so we can have fresh foods or vegetables for the people we support. So because of this little A in the store, we have the business and we have the ONG that's able to take what we do with the business and bring it back and help the people on the ground.
That's great. First of all, that's crazy that, your daughter had that vision. I think she needs to be checked to see if she's like gifted with like premonitions or something. And then also, secondly, I think it's very smart that you guys have a farm for as part of your an initiative associated with your business, because I think, especially like, because my mom's from Lumumbashi, she's from a big city. So I think sometimes they underestimate, especially if you come from a big city like Kinshasa or Mbuji-Mayi or something like that, the the power of like how smart having a farm is, because it's a necessity, right? Everybody needs
Crucial.
food.
It's crucial.
Everybody needs to eat. Everybody needs sustenance. Everybody needs something to drink, right?
Yeah.
And that's like essential
And
to being a
you're
human.
able to control the quality of food,
There you
because a
go.
lot of things we notice with their kids when we're giving them food, we're giving them like semu, rice, those like powdered milk, oil to cook, but
Yeah.
there wasn't really a lot of nutrition, and they would
Right.
get sick all the time. So we had to
Mm,
get a pharmacist to come and check up on them, give them medicine. I'm like, I don't do this with my kid. Why are they always taking medicine for this, and that?
yeah.
Let's maybe change the diet.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been playing with. And the kids are getting healthier.
They're getting
And
better.
the elders are happier too, because we're actually getting we start
Nutrition.
to call it bio, like organic food, not
Hmm.
this it's not processed food like McDonald's, but all this like packaged food
Yeah.
does not give you what
Because
you need.
yeah, it doesn't have any of the extra additives or preservatives and things
Right,
like that,
right, right.
which is pretty much 90% of what we eat here. Unfortunately, it's like
Oh,
becoming
exactly.
harder and harder to find
Real
fresh
food.
food. Yeah.
And more expensive. It's so expensive to eat well here.
I know.
And
It's
to keep it simple. But back in Congo, it's easier. It's actually
yes,
cheaper
yes.
to eat better, to eat cleaner. And it goes with your health, your wellness, keeping the population healthy. It goes with brain development
Mm-hmm.
for the children and even the elders. It keeps them fresher, younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we really push exercise with our kids. Our elders, they're their elders. You don't tell them anything, they tell you things.
Right,
So
right.
well, I try to be like, hey, let's go for a walk.
Yeah,
But
just if you have to phrase it as like a suggestion, and
it's
then
a
they'll,
suggestion. I just thought maybe you might want to,
I read
Um,
somewhere, maybe you want to implement that.
yeah, exactly. You don't tell them nothing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so that's the business really spearheaded all that. And I created a company back home called Adolo Services, so we can see what projects we can do and find ways to solve some of the problems that people in Congo face. So
Right.
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Right. And I want to talk about sort of the artistic aspects of, your designs, because I think that when I was doing my research, I was, going through all of your sites and all that. And, the home decor, a lot of them have designs that I had noticed that are very reminiscent of the Kuba Kingdom traditional textiles. And I wanted to sort of see where you got sort of your artistic inspiration for the specific collections, for like the home decor and some of the jewelry and things like that.
So home decor is my favorite. As you can see, this is my outfit
Yes,
in the
I was
city.
looking back there.
I have Kuba prints framed. I have Kuba pillows. I don't think us Congolese appreciate the Kuba artistry enough.
Mm-mm.
I don't think we understand the history behind it, how much it's inspired people, it's inspired Picasso. There's comment on appelle ça in English? The tableaux, the Kuba
The
tableaux.
like the
Um,
poster or
yeah,
yeah.
the actual raffia. First of all, the way the raffia is made and laid out, this is geometry.
Yes.
Kuba print is math, it's geometry in poetry form. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
artistry at its finest. And to be able to take different woven and color it and play with it, and it takes days, and there's a whole process to it, and there's a chief that runs it, and you have to have the artistic ability to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do these Kuba items. It's just something that I don't think we appreciate, but everybody else appreciates
Yeah, I
and everybody
know.
else copies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I learned about the Kubas, I think I was like 14. And ever since I've been obsessed with the geometric prints. I'm always like drawing it. One of our new canvas bags that we're making for the nonprofit, we're having an event. It's part of the traditional Cuba,
Mhm.
but we blew it out a little bit and we added the logo
Mhm.
and made it in green and orange, the colors of the nonprofit. And it looks
Oh,
amazing. There's so much you can do with it. And then the raffia, the way that the Cubas take it, you're allowed to really play with it. You can do the pillows, you can frame them into art, you can make coasters. Like I had this one coaster. Can you see it?
oh,
This
oh my
made by Congo
God.
people. Yeah, right. And then in the back, he took the raffia and added leather and imprinted the cool images with the
That's,
cowrie.
oh my
And
gosh.
cowrie was the first form of currency
Right.
on the continent. This is how you
Yes.
used to pay for stuff with cowrie, not money. Money and all that stuff came later. So this is just original raffia
Oh my
without
God.
any dyes. So can you
Oh,
imagine this? It starts off like this, and then you play with the texture, and then you get that in the
uh-huh.
background. It's amazing.
That's
And it
crazy.
tells a great story. It's a sense of pride for us. It's, I think, one of the most undervalued things in our country. We are artists in
Yes.
general. We're cultivators, we're style makers, and music is key. It's important. It's the language of our lives, it's the
Mhm.
soundtrack of our lives. But I feel like we need to develop more the artisans because we have
Yes.
such talented people, but they lack the machinery, they lack the training. Like I'm in Lumbashi a lot. We have a Malachi collection.
Yes, I would. Yes.
Yes, see, I'm wearing some now, like the rings, the bracelets. So some of them we do custom designs. I don't have the earrings here, but we're working with Papa Pierre in Lumbashi to teach him how to make the earrings a little bit better, cleaner.
Yeah.
But the machines that he has are just so old. They're from like the
Oh,
60s, pre-independence
oh
is
my
what
gosh.
they're using, you know? And then you have Bottega Veneta going to Umbashi, buying the stone and then
Mm.
bringing it to Italy and making tiny malachite jewelry and selling it for $12,000. Why can't we do that? We have 96% of the
Of the
malachite.
Malachite.
The
Yeah.
other four is in Russia. No one's going to Russia these days, you know, to get the other 4%.
Mm.
So why are we developing that? So that's one of the goals also of being able to have the Adolophine designs, really showcasing what people have, keeping the traditional stuff, remixing it and making other items.
Yeah.
And then really explaining the rich history and how amazing we are because as you know, someone in media and communication,
Mm.
what you communicate to people and what images you feed them is how they think about you. So
Right.
we're very careful on all fronts, even the nonprofit for trying to raise money, not to be shocking. You're not going to see like, you know, all the trash in Kinshasa. You'll
Yeah.
see the improvement. I'll show you maybe like a little part of it, like, look, it's getting better. Um, I'm going to tell you, my kids need a generator because there's no power and the toilets aren't working, but I'm not going to show you the toilet and
Right.
be disrespectful because that's their home, right?
Right.
I
Right.
might just tell you and then show you the after. That's a better image.
Right.
So this is kind of what we do too with the Dolphin. We take what we have, we show the images, we celebrate it because this is hundreds and hundreds of years of artistry, of storytelling, of beauty, of joy, of resistance. And then being able to bring that into people's homes and having them understand us in a different way is really
Yeah.
how we move forward and how Africa keeps moving forward.
Right. Yeah, because I think that's important to tell because I think a lot of times, um, and like you kind of briefly mentioned about, the whole Russia Ukraine thing, people, they don't, one, especially in the United States, they don't talk about Africa at all. And then when they do, it's like superlative, the worst of the worst of the worst, the images that they show. And especially when they talk about Congo, it's just this one narrative that,
Right.
about child like miners in the coal mines. But I think it's important to tell like there is improvement happening with
Absolutely.
businesses like yours. You're a Congolese business owner, you're a woman business owner, you're a Black business owner. and you'll have a business that's thriving. So why isn't that being businesses like yours being put on a, you know, put on a more positive thing? And that's, you know, sort of the basis of why I created my podcast, was because you know, when I was in undergrad and doing my, you know, doing research for various projects in school, I couldn't find articles that showed us in a positive life, or even if it wasn't 100% positive, even in a more just balanced. It was,
Yeah.
it was very overwhelmingly biased towards the negative. And I think it's important to, one, you know, these are people. You have to be respectful about their home, about their, you know, about where they live. So you speak with them in a positive way, just like, you know, they speak, you know, in a more respectful way when they're talking about crises that are happening in Europe, when it's in Africa or the Middle East or in Asia. You know, it's like less than.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And you know, when you show people, especially if you're asking for help, but if you show it in a respectful way,
Mm-hmm.
they respect you and they're willing to help you.
Yes.
But if it's just, if you're doing it for shock image or to get Instagram followers, I personally would question your motives. And I
Yes.
think the problem with Congo is we're not the hot country. You know how like Black Americans are really like, oh, I'm going back home. It's like, well, the majority of you come from Congo,
Mm-hmm.
Kinshasa, Congo Kinshasa, or
Yeah.
Angola. If you really want to go back home, this is where you want to be,
Yeah.
not Ghana or Nigeria.
Right.
But I feel like, especially with us Congolese in the States, as opposed to like the ones in Belgium and France, there's a language issue,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we're not like, you know, hot and popping like Ghana because we also have a language issue.
Right.
The Americans are going to go back home, and what are they going to speak? How are they going to communicate? How are they going to get
Right.
around?
Right.
And it's, Congo is so big and overwhelming, even to me. Like to go from Kinshasa to Kisantu to check on land for a farm, it's a
It's a,
hundred.
yeah.
It's it takes all day. It's very, I call Kinshasa to my American friends. I was like, it's the French Lagos. But Lagos has Afrobeat and you can speak English. We don't. We have
Yeah.
Congolese
Yeah.
rumba. It's more fun, but you
Yeah.
can't communicate. So it's even more important for us to be careful and to be cognizant of that when
Mm-hmm.
we show the positive, when we show Congo, we show the positive side, we show the realistic side,
Exactly.
right? And be more fair and balanced, and be careful when we criticize our country to other people and to ourselves, because
Yes.
then we're not respecting the innovations, we're not respecting the development, we're not respecting the change, and we're not respecting the people that are there and that are thriving or surviving.
Yes.
So I feel like we have to be so careful with our language. The Nigerians do it, the Ghanaians do it. Why can't
Senegalese.
we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Senegalese, like, do you know how much I love Senegal? I'm like, I
I
wish.
love Senegalese people. We have a lot of Senegalese immigrants. We have a like a few Senegalese restaurant. I love Senegal. I've never had a bad experience with a Senegalese person. I love
Our
them.
handbags are made in Dakar. And when Americans of any race ask me, what's a good country for me to wet my palates for Africa? I don't say South Africa. I don't say Morocco. I say
Yeah.
go to Senegal, go to Dakar.
Yes. Yes.
It's easy. It's French speaking, by the way, and that's the
Yes.
reason why I pick it too.
Yeah.
It's easy. The airport is easy to navigate. No one's going to take your passport, like in Lagos. Sorry, my Nigerian friends, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Oh, they know.
And the Christians and the Muslims get along,
Yes.
and it's fun. Like everybody goes out like at 2 o'clock in the morning. I guess they wait for their parents to go to sleep, but it's
Yes.
fun
Yeah.
and it's easy to navigate. So why
And
can't we
also,
kind of do the same thing with our people?
also about Senegal, like as far as like the food goes, it's probably the most familiar, like but
Yes,
it's, for me, it's like the West African version of Congolese food. It's the most
exactly.
familiar to me. It's because
Yes.
like I eat Nigerian food, it's very different. I
Yeah,
eat Ghanaian food, it's very different. I
very
eat
different.
like Cameroonian food, very different.
Ethiopian
but
food, completely different.
completely different.
Senegalese, you're like, oh,
This
what
is
is this,
something that,
Baba? What's this?
yeah,
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 absolutely. So but it's also their perception, the images
yes,
that they send out, the way
yes.
the Senegalese speak about Senegal to other people, right?
Mm-hmm,
We have little
mm-hmm.
Senegal here in Harlem, and people are constantly buying things, or they're like, oh, when you go to Dakar, is it safe? They're like, is it safe? We're in Harlem, we're in New York City, you're worried about here. And I kind of adopted the same language. I'm like, we're in America where the average American has 7 guns. In Congo, they might hit you with a stick. Like, where would you
Yeah,
rather be?
yeah, I want to
Like,
go with the
pick
stick.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll go with the stick. So that's also very important.
yeah,
Perception, image, communication, and how we represent ourselves is how we're able to get tourism, we're able to get development, we're able to get
mhm.
what we need to move forward. But it starts
Yes,
with us.
yes, it does. Well, we've talked, I can, talk for hours about this, but I want to finish it off with something fun. I have a little game for you, and it's sort of like, and so I know, and so I did this with one other guest, to test his French, but I'm not going to test your French because I know that, you're like me, you speak French just fine. I'm going to test your Swahili.
Oh
I'm going to make it challenging.
no. I'm failing.
There might be some easy ones in there. You never know.
Jumbo. I
So I have 10 words here. And let me just, yeah, there we go. I have 10 words here. And I'm going to test and see if, well, let's see if you can, maybe you may not make it in Lumumbashi, but let's say if you can make it in Goma or somewhere where they speak Swahili a little bit more proper than down south, okay?
I don't speak proper Swahili, so let's go. Let's try it.
Okay. All right. Number 1. Kwaheri.
Kwaheri. Can I phone a friend?
Well, I'll give you a hint. It is a greeting.
Different than jumbo.
Yes, it is different than jumbo.
So jumbo is hi. Kwaheri would be how are you?
No, that's habari gani. You did it.
Oh, habari gani. I know habari gani. You should have started with that. I don't know. This is pressure.
It is the exact opposite. It is the exact opposite of jumbo.
Goodbye.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, that's how you say goodbye?
Kwaheri.
That I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know how to say goodbye. I just waved.
Muzuri.
Oh, I know Muzuri. I know it. I use it. Translation. Muzuri. I know it. It's not coming. The pressure is getting to me.
So,
Muzuri.
So if you say, if you ask somebody habari gani, right? And they answer Muzuri.
Muzuri. I'm well. I'm fine.
Yes. That's one. Yes, that's one transition.
Yeah.
Good,
yeah, I'm
fine.
good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Now, uzuri is the next one.
I'm not good. That's the opposite.
No, uzuri is, so in Swahili, if you put like a U in front of it, it means it's like a noun now. So
it's not a negative, it's a noun.
Yeah, it's not a negative.
What's a negative?
Not always.
Okay. Why did I? Okay. So what does uzuri mean?
So uzuri is kind of like, you know how like Nelson Mandela used to use that term Ubuntu, meaning like humanity.
Yeah, all of us.
Yes. Uzuri in Swahili is kind of like the similar syntax. It means
all of us.
Yes, in a sense, but it relates to zuri, meaning good. It becomes beauty, the word
Oh,
beauty.
that's tricky. Okay,
Because
muzuri mean I'm fine.
if you say,
Uzuri.
if you say just zuri with an N, that means, that can mean beautiful
Okay,
or good.
good.
But when you change it to uzuri, that means beauty.
Oh, so if I want to tell somebody they're beautiful, I would
I would
say,
say,
oh, uzuri,
ukumuzuri, yeah.
ukumuzuri, or this item is beautiful. That's what
Mhm.
I'll say to Papa Jean. Attends, ukumuzuri, uku, because he speaks Swahili only, and he speaks so fast. So I always have to have class speak to him. I'm like, Papa Jean, I don't understand.
Where is he from? Is he from Lumumbashi? Because they speak
Yeah,
Swahili. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He's the one that makes our malachite. I
yeah.
have the
That
hardest time
sounds like my
speaking
mom.
with him. Yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah.
And his French is like non-existent, and he speaks very little Lingala. So I always
Oh
have to
yeah.
have class speak with me
Oh
too.
yes, Eva. That's funny. Let's see here. What else can I give you? I have a few words here.
Do I
Um,
want to Chiluba so I can pass?
oh, and kilo.
Chiluba is different than Chiluba.
Yes, it is. I don't know
Yeah.
any words in Chiluba, but I know kilo. I know a
Well,
few
okay,
words.
let's try Chiluba. I know Chiluba, so let's see if I can guess it.
Uh, Wafuako.
Waffle Wako
Mhm.
in Kiluba. Not
Kiluba.
Congo. Waffle Wako. That's the other thing. There are too many languages that sound the same.
Yeah, I know,
Wako,
right?
like the Ivoirians say. Wako. No, that means come here. What does that mean in Kiluba?
In Kiluba, that means thank you.
Oh,
You want?
Wako means come here. Thank you in Kiluba. I'm gonna be like telling people I speak Kiluba. Wako.
Or I know God in Kiluba is Leza.
Lisa.
Leza, yeah. Um,
Wako. Wako. Just
yes,
have to say at
waf,
the end of this.
yeah, waffle walk. I say that to my grandmother all the time, and she was like, she gets
Waffle
really
waffle.
excited because that's the
Waffle.
waffle wako.
Waffle
Waffle
waffle.
wako. Mm-hmm.
Waffle wako. Now I speak 12 languages.
I know, right? I'll give you a lucky number 13 if you want to learn a Hemba word.
Yes.
So in Hemba, my mom taught me some other ones, but now I don't remember. The one I remember right now is the word for God, and it is Habeja Bungu.
Habeja bungu.
Mm-hmm.
Habeja bungu in Hemba. Habeja bungu. This will come in handy.
Yeah. If you tell somebody that, because there are a lot of Embas in Lumumbashi, if you walk up to somebody and you find out that they're Emba, just say, replace Nzambe with Habeja Bunga, they'll be like, what?
It's like, when you see the Mindele in Kinshasa and they go Boni, and they go like Boni, people are like, oh,
yeah,
yeah. Like
they
they
get
said
really
hi.
excited. Yeah, it's just one thing.
It's one thing. Yeah, it's like a game changer. But
Right.
that's the fun thing about languages, when you make a little bit of an effort, people are so much more welcoming and kind to you wherever you go.
I noticed that when I went to, especially when I went to France, I went to Paris. I was at a restaurant. Well, it was more of like a bar, and there were these Americans that came in, but they weren't like associated with me, and they didn't speak French. And the guy, he was trying to order a drink, and the guy, he didn't, the bartender, he couldn't speak English very well, and he was Algerian, and he was like, he was like trying to order, but he was like, the little French that the American knew wasn't matching up to what he was trying to communicate. And I was in the distance trying not to laugh because it was so funny. And the guy was like, so you don't speak French? And he was like, no. he just walked
But if you
away.
make an effort, people will try. You know, everyone's always like, the French are so mean. They're mean for different reasons, not for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe colonization and things like that.
Right.
But if you go to France and you just walk in, you don't say bonjour, merci, or, you know,
yeah, I noticed.
Like if you do that, you will have a fantastic time.
I noticed that because, you know, sometimes, you know, I forget a word here and there just because, you know, I'm used to speaking English for, you know, because that's my environment. But like, I would go to, like I was having trouble with my lodging and I was thinking about switching hotels. And I went to another hotel just to see what their rates were. And I was just like, I couldn't remember, for whatever reason, I couldn't remember the word for price. And I was just like, you know, I'm here, I'm just learning. I phrased it like, I'm trying to remember my French a little bit. Can you tell me what's the word for price? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And he was like, prix. I was like, oh, why did I think of that? You know, so it was, yeah. So they will be helpful if you like kind of explain yourself. So
it's like that in most places, even in African countries, when you travel, you know, when you make a little bit of an effort, you're like, I know my accent, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You try to communicate, they'll laugh at you, you laugh at them, you joke, and then everything's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
Yes. Okay, next one. Let me see. I'll give you a phrase. Nina Samehe.
And what language is that?
Swahili. We're back to Swahili now.
Oh, Jesus. The hard one.
Now, this is Nina Samehe.
Nina. Isn't Nina a child?
Nina, the name, or Nia, sorry, means like follower or like
it's not child?
Mtoto is
Mutoto.
Yeah.
Nina is child in Spanish.
Yeah, it means like girl or something, or girl child.
Right. Too many languages. Like wires get crossed.
So it's a phrase, it's not a singular word. So Nina, I'll give you Nina is I am.
Okay. And then what was the second word?
Samehe.
Samehe. Samehe. Samehe.
Now it's actually something that if you're ever in the East again, that you probably may want to use. It is a very important phrase.
Well, I am lost.
It means I'm sorry.
Nina, that's how you say you're sorry?
It's one way, yes. Nina Samehe.
What's the other way? What's the normal way?
The other way, I always forget. Well, my mom just told me this the other day
easier.
Too. It's like it's basically to ask for forgiveness. And
how do you say that?
Oh my God.
That's not how I learned how to say it.
My brain is not working.
Okay, Nina Samehe. That's the proper way of saying.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know it's proper. I know Papa Pierre Swahili.
Yes. And then finally, I'll get. Let's see if you can get this one. This word is also very important. Kujala. Kujala.
I don't know. What is that?
Kujala means to be hungry or hunger.
Oh.
So if you say
Kujala and Zala.
Yeah. So if you say like Mjala, that means like you can any auntie will go, any tantin will be like, okay, she needs
feed the child
some beans, she needs some maragi, she needs something.
Yeah, the aunties are the best, man. Aunties are gods.
Yes.
They're lifesavers.
Yes. Kujala, okay. Yes. That's like the infinitive version of it. Yeah. Let's see.
Kujala.
You want a bonus one?
Yes, give it to me.
Okay. Kushinda.
Kushinda.
I I just learned this actually. I was watching some Congolese wedding with my mom. She likes to watch those.
Oh my gosh, I love those.
Yeah,
They're the
they're
best
very
entrance.
they're the best.
I know. I regret not having a wedding in Kinshasa so I can have like 5 outfit changes and
Right, yeah.
whole dance number, you know.
Yes.
Kushinda. So it has to be I am.
No, this is a like the infinitive verb.
The
That's the
infinitive.
other.
Oh, ku is infinitive.
Yeah, whenever it's a ku, yeah.
Kushinda. Tired?
No, that's choka, kuchoka.
Kushinda is what then?
Kushinda is to conquer, something that the Muzungus did.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like that one. I have to name something after that. To conquer. Kushinda. Shinda.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
To conquer. Oh, I like that. That's a good name for a collection.
Yeah, Kushinda, the Conqueror collection. Yes.
Is that also somebody's name? Like, is that another name too?
I guess that could be. If you wanted it to. It's not, it wouldn't be a common name. Like we have names like I have a Hemba name, so mine's more like tribe specific, but in Swahili, you can name them like Shabani is a name that's common in Hemba when they want to give them a Swahili name. Sifa, Bahati.
That's my cousin's name, Sifa.
Yeah,
Sifa.
yeah. That's like Mary in there's like 15 Sifas. What else? For girls, it's there's a lot. Amina is another one.
Amina is very popular. But I like Kushinda.
Yeah, Kushinda. I like when I heard that name. That's how I remember. I said Kushinda. That's a nice word.
Yeah, that's a good one. I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to use it for the Adolophine collection.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's my contribution. You're welcome.
This is a great contribution. I love it. This was a hard game. I don't speak proper Swahili. I guess Papa Pierre needs to teach me.
Yeah, you need to go back to him. I said, I need to learn more.
I need to learn the proper way. The way I guess I speak slang.
Yeah.
Just like I speak now slang Lingala. I used to speak very proper Lingala, and then you go to Kinshasa, people make fun of you. So now I'm learning the slang. I could be more in the mix.
Yeah,
now I could do the opposite with Swahili.
Yeah, because the way I learned Swahili was, because my parents, they learned proper Swahili in school, but then it's kind of like when you learn English, you learn it the proper way in school, but then when you're with your friends or when you're with your family, you speak whatever dialect of English you speak at home. And it's kind of like I learned like standardized Swahili. That's how I learned it. And then, being around my mom, she's from Rumbashi, so they have
their ways.
Yeah, they have different words for stuff.
Yeah. And then the people that speak Kiswahili, theirs is even more different. So it gets.
Yeah, it depends. They have their own dialect of the same language. It's very interesting how even within Congo, not even country to country, where Swahili spoken like in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, or even Comoros Islands, I think, it changes. It's depending on the culture too, and
it's one of my goals for 2022. The African Union has made Swahili one of its official languages, and one of their goals is to get rid of all the colonial languages.
Oh, that's my dream for Congo, because it's like Belgium has something over their necks with this French. I'm just like,
mais moi je parle français moi. Oh, putain.
I'm just like, I think part of it is like it was a determiner for like if you were educated or not.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, but how do you really know? Because you can just choose to speak Swahili and be educated too.
Even more. Yeah. So one of my goals, there's this lady that has like Learn Lingala class in London, and she does it virtually.
Yes.
So I think she's going to start offering Swahili options. So I'm definitely going to take that.
I want to freshen up on my Swahili. So I just want to, stay sharp, because my grandma, she gets on me sometimes when I forget. some
That's
words.
good. All right,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to start calling you grandma. I need somebody to be on top of me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be no problem.
What do you call her? Is we
So in
we call you Kaku if you're a grandma. So how do you
so we call her combo.
combo?
Combo would be it's genderless, so you can use it for
Yeah,
grandpa or grandma.
ours is Kaku.
Oh, and that's in Lingala or Chiluba?
Chiluba.
And Chiluba. Oh, okay. Because I think,
Coco is in Lingala, I
oh,
think.
is
Yeah.
that right? Oh, that's
Yeah,
I think
Coco,
how
but
we,
Coco. Yeah.
I think that's great grandparent in Swahili is Coco.
Oh, see, this is how you get confused so fast.
Yeah, I know. I know. Or like how in Lingala, I learned recently mikate in Lingala is beignet, but mikate in Swahili for us is just bread.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mikate is bread and
It's bread. So like,
I've actually been craving some mikate so bad these past few days.
oh,
I
my
don't know how
mom,
to make it. I need to find somebody to make me some mikate in New York.
yeah, that I would maybe go to the Senegalese restaurant.
They make
Or
it different.
oh, did
Their
they?
dough is like too thick. Yeah, I like it the way we
Oh,
make it, nice and light, with some
mm-hmm.
peanuts on the side. Like
Oh,
some
yeah.
vegetable. C'est la
Yeah,
vie.
yeah. Oh, because in Swahili, I think, well, no, yeah, we call it bitumbula if for multiple donuts, but if it's just one, it's kitumbula.
Kitumbula.
Mm-hmm. But we always, because you never just eat one, so it's
No,
bitumbula all the time.
of course you can't. If you only eat one, you have problems.
Yeah. My mom just made some like a few weeks ago. She made a lot, so we had to freeze ours. She makes really good bitumbula.
Ah, tell her to share. Oh,
I know.
I need to learn how to make it.
Yeah.
That should be one of my other goals. But
Yes. Yes.
cooking is not my thing. So
Oh no. Well, now they have some Congolese YouTube channels for cooking.
who has time for that?
That's true.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. It takes all day. Who has time
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Maybe if I'm hungry enough, I'll suck it up and watch
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a wonderful conversation. Definitely worth the wait. I'm so happy to have gotten to speak with you today and talk a bit about your business and all of your philanthropic work. Please feel free to want to do the podcast again whenever you come out with a new collection or you have something else
Yeah,
going on. Feel free to reach out to me.
I love
Um,
that.
Yes, of course. And yes, thank you for being on the program. I hope you had a good time talking to me, just as I did with you. Yeah, thank you for
It
being
was
on the podcast.
fantastic. Thank you for having me. This was so fun. Also, the brain teaser woke up my brain. I learned something new.
Yes.
I'm so glad this worked out. It was
Yes.
crazy scheduling, but I'm glad it
Yes.
worked out. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. I will see you next time. Hope to talk to you soon. And thank you
Yeah,
again.
reach out if you need anything. I'm here.
Yes, thank you. Oh, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I was in conversation with Adolophine Lukabu Sheeley. It was a wonderful conversation. I hope you enjoyed the discourse as much as I did. This is another episode. Again, make sure that you tune in. I do apologize for the past few weeks. I haven't been 100% transparent with everybody. I've been a bit sick. I've had some sort of illness. I don't know, some sort of infection that I've been dealing with for the past few months. So coupled with, people, dates getting wired with certain guests and things having to get canceled, episodes having to get canceled. So I really do apologize that I haven't been putting out content in the past few weeks, but I am back. I am scheduled to it should be up to par from here on out. So, just bear with me. Stay tuned for updates. And now that I'm starting to feel better, even though after I got over my other illness, I came down with a cold. Stay tuned for updates and uh, just bear with me here. And yeah, make sure that you are following us and telling a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We really need to get our followership and our listener points up for the podcast. I would like to see. I was looking at my analytics. We sort of plateaued here, so I really would like this initiative to get people to listen to the podcast more and get more listeners and get more viewers on YouTube, because now we are in video and visual format as well to watch the program. And yeah, make sure you're following us on Facebook, following us on Instagram, and that you're listening to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Overcast, Castbox. Uh, oh God, I forgot the other one. You guys know I say it every time. Okay, all of these platforms, I think it's about 10. Make sure that you are watching us and listening to us. I'm so happy that you guys have continued to enjoy this program. I will see you all next week. Bye.